What's up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 3 of the BamaCollegeTake podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Tingle. No Cole with me, co-host with me here today. He's unfortunately on the IR with no expected return date. We hope to get him back soon, but as of now, there's no expected return date there. As far as today's episode goes, we're going to recap the Missouri game, both stats and just a quick film analysis, as well as preview the Tennessee game, and then do college game day pick'ems. We are going to have a guest picker for the game day pick'ems, and um, we're also going to break down our thoughts on the AP Top 25 this week. So before we get started into the recap of the Missouri game, one just minor news really. Wide receiver Bubba Hampton has entered the transfer portal. Um, Bubba hasn't been with the team since fall camp, so no, huge loss there. He was a Saban recruit. He was a little banged up in spring training, and he played inside receiver. And with guys like younger guys like Latier Brooks, Rico Scott coming in, kind of just got buried on the depth chart there. Got banged up in spring training. That didn't help either. And hasn't been with the team since fall camp. So really no surprise that he entered the transfer portal, but we wish him the best of luck. And with that being said, let's get into the Missouri game. All right, welcome to the Missouri game recap. You know, walked out of coma with a W. Not much else you can ask for. Wasn't the prettiest, wasn't the ugliest. This was a classic, in my opinion. If you kept up with college football in 2023, this was a classic Kalen DeBoer Washington game per Josh Pate. Um, if you watched them that season, they played 8 games that ended up being one possession games, and Kalen DeBoer in Washington was 8-0 in those games. And eventually, you just kind of felt like their luck was going to run out. They kept getting kind of lucky and winning one possession games, and then they face Oregon, and you're like, okay, you know, luck's about to run out. Then they find a way to win, and you're like, okay, maybe this isn't luck. Maybe they just know how to win tough football games. And by all means, Missouri was a tough football game. Eighth straight home game, like flowing in from last year, not including bowl season for them. Fifth straight home game, if you can't, just this season. They're off of a bye week. We're Alabama, so we're everyone's Super Bowl. So obviously, everyone, all the fans are going to be there. It's going to be packed out because everyone wants a chance to rush to the field after you beat the University of Alabama. You know, so that's always a factor. But with the injuries that we had, Ryan Williams not 100%, didn't get a reception this game. Ryan Williams not 100%. Jam Miller getting hurt. Our defensive line being thin already. And the ball is not really bouncing our way this game. We're not getting calls this game really, and you still find a way to win. And that's what the biggest takeaway from this game that I thought was really important was we found a way to win. Not many teams in college football can go to Georgia, turn around, have Vanderbilt after they play a weak Utah State team. You beat Georgia off of a bye week in Georgia. You beat Vanderbilt at home, college game day, another top 20 matchup. You go on the road to Missouri off of a bye week, like I said, and their 5th straight home game this season. And not many teams will come out 3-0. And so the tide is rolling right now. I really like what I'm seeing. One thing I like what I'm seeing is from this guy right here, Ty Simpson. 23 for 31, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. He said post game he didn't like how he played. I liked how he played. Wasn't, like I said, wasn't an easy place to play. Wasn't an easy game by all means, but Ty still played great. He besides the one fumble, he took care of the football. He made the correct reads. Um, 200 passing yards from Ty. The Crimson Tide had 125 rush yards combined. Really liked what I saw from Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley. When Jim Miller went out, they really stepped up when we needed to. Alabama was 6 for 15 on third down, which isn't terrible. That's pretty good. But the biggest thing from that is Alabama was 6 for 15, which wasn't great, but Missouri was 1 for 10. They were 1 for 10 on third down, which is phenomenal. Great job from our defense. Missouri turned the ball over 3 of the last 4 drives, which really determined the game there at the end. Again, it just comes back to close games like this, just finding a way to win. Find a way to win. Classic Kalen DeBoer Washington game. If you kept up with college football in 2023, we dominated the time of possession. That's kind of why it didn't really feel like a close game. It kind of felt like Missouri was behind, 14 points the entire game, just because we had the ball for so long. 38 minutes, 33 seconds is how long we had the ball, and Missouri had the ball, had possession for 21 minutes and 27 seconds. So that's a pretty big difference. And I really like how we're controlling the time of possessions the last couple games. I think versus Georgia we had, I know versus Georgia we had the most time of possession. Versus Vandy, I'm pretty sure we dominated the time of possession. And then versus Missouri, we for sure dominated the time of possession, which is key to winning games like this. No Ryan Williams, wasn't 100%. I think he just kind of played as a decoy, letting guys, that he was still a distraction out there for the defenses, and they're still worried about Ryan Williams, even though he's not 100%, which opens, passing lanes up for Jeremy Bernard, Latair Brooks, Isaiah Horton. And, this isn't a great defensive team that we have, but our defense is doing what we need to do. And versus Missouri, we did what we needed to do. We got into the flow of things after that first drive. We'll get into that in a minute. If anyone wants to tell me what Damani Jackson was doing on the first drive, please reach out to me. Let me know. I'm still trying to figure it out. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, we're also going to look at the injury report later. Just an update on Jam Miller. Derek Meadows, I expect him to be out. It was the brutal hit he took, so speedy recovery there. But anyway, offense, didn't look phenomenal at times. It looked a little laggy at times, but Ty Simpson still looked good. He's now the favorite to win the Heisman. I agree. It would be great if this guy could win a Heisman, because I promise you the success Alabama is having right now is completely contributed to this guy right here. Again, I think this is going to be the third or fourth week in a row. Ty Simpson's going to be the offensive player of the game here. Looked phenomenal. Running game wasn't amazing, but got the job done. Pretty consistent across the board. Daniel Hill stepped up when he needed to with Jam Miller out. That was huge. Kevin Riley, being a solid running back too still. And then the Wildcat formation with Caden Proctor. Gotta love it. Latair Brooks leading the receivers and receiving yards, the true freshman. I really like what I'm seeing from him. We kind of said before Bubba Hampton entered the transfer portal, and it's kind of because, younger guys like this, a true freshman, Latair Brooks, stepping up and just playing a lot better than, these Saban recruits were. So Latair Brooks looked really phenomenal, but the reason, really, if Ty wasn't the offensive player of the game, I would give it to Latair Brooks, but Ty threw to 9 different receivers, one which was Parker Brailsford off of a deflection, so really, call it 8 different receivers. So there's really not a guy in our offense who kind of pops out, skill position wise, but they all help Ty Simpson look great. So that's all he's got to do, just make the right reads. He's got a ton of weapons, obviously, as you can see here from this list, a ton of weapons with, Ron Williams is not even on this list. So he's just got to continue to make the right reads, and he's got a good squad around him. Ty with the fumble there. I think that's our second turnover so far this season, so still looking pretty good in the turnover category. 0 would be great, but, got to take what you can get. Defense, like I said, defense did what they needed to do. Ahmad Hardy came in this game, the leading rusher in NCAA college football, most yards in college football so far this season, until he ran into the Alabama Crimson Tide defense. He got the Leonard Fournette treatment, if you remember that game years ago. And he only had 52 rushing yards. Bo Prabula, their quarterback, had the most rushing yards for them, but they did what they needed to do in terms of taking Ahmad Hardy out of the game. They pretty much shut him down the entire game, which is great to see. And got to keep it up versus Tennessee. But a long list here of defensive players Um, like I said, defensive line is kind of banged up, so we're rotating a lot of guys in on the defensive line. I think Kelby Collins might have got hurt. I hope he's okay and going to return versus Tennessee. But of this whole list, defensive player of the game, in my opinion, it's going to be this guy right here, LT Overton, the transfer from Texas A&M 2 years ago. It was his birthday on Saturday, and he played like it. Happy birthday, LT Overton! If you're watching the podcast, which I'm sure you are, you're my player. You're my defensive player of the game. Um, he had 1.5 sacks. Um, really two. We call it 1.5. Also 1.5 tackles for loss, 6 total tackles, 2 solos. And he was just a force to be reckoned with up front. So I really liked what I saw from LT Overton. He's my defensive player of the game. Um, 2 interceptions from Bray Hubbard, and then the game-winning interception from freshman Dijon Lee, who, if Damani Jackson is not careful, this guy's going to get a lot more playing time. And, Damani Jackson was supposed to be in the NFL this year. So he better watch out. But yeah, I'm gonna give the quarterback room here a I'm gonna go an A minus on Ty this week. Not his best, but came in with W, so um, not much to complain about. And if you're an Alabama fan and you're still complaining about a win like this, then you're just spoiled. It's a new age in college football, and you just gotta quit carrying that narrative. It's just a new era. Um, but gonna go A minus with Ty there. Running backs, I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go B plus just because I really liked how Daniel Hill and Kevin Riley, um, did their part when Jam Miller got out, and Jam also played a great game before he got injured. So B. What did I say? I don't remember what I said, but I'm gonna go B plus if I didn't say that before. I'm going B plus with the running backs. Receivers, I'm gonna go A minus. Again, really excited what this receiving group can do the rest of this season, and this isn't even including Ryan Williams. So, really, really excited for our receivers going forward. I've said that probably every single episode so far. I'm probably going to continue to say it. Defensively, I'm gonna go with an A for the defense, and I know a lot of people are not gonna agree with that, but they did what they needed to do. This isn't an insane defense like the Alabama Crimson Tide has had in the past, but they're doing what they needed to do. They shut down Ahmad Hardy, and versus Vanderbilt, they shut down Diego Pavia. They made him turn the ball over. They made a guy turn the ball over who doesn't really turn the ball over in Diego Pavia. I really like what I'm seeing from our defense so far. It's just a different style, but it's still working. So, um, that's pretty much it on the Missouri game. Probably gonna go into a quick film analysis real quick now. Um, just the good, bad, the ugly. There's three clips I thought. Well, one that was bad, one that was good, one that was ugly. So let's get into that next. All right, welcome to the film analysis of the Missouri game. Gonna start it off with the ugly here. Let's just get it out of the way. Um, you know, let's just get it out of the way. Right here, Damani Jackson. Um, we're in zone here. And he does a great job here of passing the. He does a great job there of passing this guy right here off to the safety because he's not playing deep. He's not playing he's not playing the deep ball here. He's playing about 3/4. So he passes that guy off to the safety, which is what he's supposed to do. So he does a great job there. And then he picks up the guy coming into his zone, which is also what he's supposed to do right here. He picks him up, but what are you doing? That's just bottom line. You're over here with the camera guys. You're a fourth or fifth year senior who could have got drafted last year, and Kane Womack's probably getting chewed out for this play by Kalen DeBoer, or fans probably. And then Kane Womack's probably looking at this and going, I could not have set this guy up to make a better play in this position. And this is the first time that they threw the ball all game. They'd run the ball every single, granted this is the opening drive, but he's over here with the cameraman. He's like, what are you doing? Make a play. You're in the position to make a play. Make the play. All right, that was the ugly. Don't want to spend too much time on all this, but that was the ugly. This is the bad. First play out of halftime. I think we all know what play I'm talking about. Um, and just this changed the reason this is the bad is because this changed the entire momentum of the football game. And after this play, they go down the drive. This changed the entire momentum, which is just bottom line why it is the bad this week. Um, our pass protection, Ty did a good job of stepping up in the pocket here. Just not a good job of picking up the blitz there by Jam Miller. Watch Jam Miller just misses his guy there, which causes Ty to step up. Another guy letting their guy through. Not as bad, not as bad of a miss as Jam Miller. But then Ty just gets swarmed. He loses the football, and first play out of halftime, and it pretty much just Missouri gets the ball at halftime. They get the ball at the beginning of the game, and now they get the ball at the beginning of the halftime, pretty much. So that's the bad. Let's move on to the good, and on a good note here. All right, welcome to the good. Welcome to the good. This play was just so beautiful. It's 4th and 8, a gutsy call from Brian Grubb and Kalen DeBoer here, and just an absolute dime from Ty Simpson. He sees something. I don't really know what he sees here. He sees something. He goes. He lets his lineman know. Great job of being a leader there, and then just drops it in and just drops an absolute dime right into the bucket to Latier Brooks. Look at that. Look at that. And just a great gritty catch by Latier Brooks there. His helmet comes off. He holds on the football. This was huge on 4th down. Only a 3-point game. You don't really want to punt there. Our kicker's already missed one. Missed a field goal. I kind of want to watch it from this other angle. So just a good play call from Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer there. Not you don't really want to punt it there. You kind of want to go for it. And that was just that was the good. That was just a beautiful ball from Ty Simpson and a great catch from Latier Brooks. All right, we're gonna welcome our guest picker today. We're also gonna go over the top 25 AP poll. How you doing, Solomon?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. This is Solomon Arnold. He's a freshman at the University of Alabama. Where are you from, Solomon?
I'm from New Site, Alabama, near Lake Martin. So
Okay. All right. All right, Solomon. We'll get the AP poll in front of us here. What are your thoughts here? Do you think they did a pretty good job this week or not?
I do. I guess I'll start from the bottom up. Um, I like Nebraska. I think Nebraska is definitely a top 25 team.
Hmm.
Cincinnati. I'm not gonna go all the way through, but I didn't even know Cincinnati was like that this year. I like Utah. I think Utah's better than number 23. Don't know much about Memphis. I don't think Texas should have got re-ranked this year. I don't know how you feel. I mean, or this week. I don't know how you feel about that. I just don't think Texas has proved anything. I like USF where they're at. I'm glad they're back up. I don't think Virginia is the number 18 team in the nation. I don't. Um,
I'd say
I
that.
don't think Oklahoma is the number 14 team in the nation. Besides that, I think LSU is probably the most fraudulent number 10 we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, just going off what you
I think,
said, I like seeing Nebraska ranked. They weren't ranked last week. I think they
yeah,
deserve to be ranked because I mean they beat Cincinnati was ranked. I believe Cincinnati was ranked last week, and they beat Cincinnati, and they weren't
mm,
ranked. So glad to see Nebraska in there. I kind of
yeah,
well, um, I'm okay with Texas being there. I know they're a two-loss team, but they lost at Ohio State and at Florida. And Florida's kind of they're not really turning their season around, but definitely proven that they're no it's not a fluke year like they're Florida like there's some Florida State last year. Um,
hmm
Glad to see USC ranked. They deserve to be ranked in my opinion. Whooped up on Michigan. Um, I agree with Virginia. I don't think they should be ranked that high. I haven't really
hmm
proven that they should be ranked that high. Um, and then one team, you said LSU's a little fraudulent. I think LSU is probably definitely the weakest team in the top 10 there. But
hmm
weakest, like most fraudulent team in the entire top 25, in my opinion, Notre Dame. Why is Notre Dame at 13?
I agree with that.
I
And
mean,
I
I
didn't
get
see Notre Dame.
you can argue, no, they lost to number 2 and number 4, um, by one possession games. But I mean, so yeah, they lost those games, but who have they beat? You know, they played
Right.
Arkansas. And I can't even tell you the rest of their schedule off the top of my head just because I simply just don't know who have they beat.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean to go to that argument, Notre Dame's ranked with two quote unquote good losses. If there is such a thing, why is Auburn not ranked? You know,
Yeah, I feel you.
so I guess I could see Notre Dame being ranked, but I don't understand why they're ranked 13. Um,
Yeah, I agree with that.
so who do you think? You think LSU's the weakest top 10 team there?
I do, and I think Ole Miss is naturally weak too. I know that you probably shouldn't put Miami at number one, but I do think Miami's the
Yeah,
best team in the nation,
I
and
agree.
I think Oregon should be over Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech's proven that money can go a long way. Now with
Yeah,
NIL. But I agree. I think Miami is the most complete team. They get a veteran quarterback. They're big. They get Ruben Bain on the defensive end, who's in Heisman talks. He's the only defensive candidate for the Heisman, just even being thrown out there on some sites.
yeah.
But um, you know, other than the Notre Dame and Virginia uh thing here, I think the AP poll got it right this week. I'm not gonna lie. I think they did it
It's
pretty
solid.
good.
I do think it's solid. I don't know. I think that Georgia Tech should be number 12, but I don't know how long that'll last.
Yeah.
Especially when they almost dropped to who they almost dropped to
Uh,
2 weeks ago.
I don't know.
Wake Forest. Wake Forest. They almost dropped to Wake
Oh, did
Forest,
they?
and I think they'll definitely lose an easy game one of these upcoming weeks.
Yeah.
It's just the Georgia Tech way.
Yep. I like Memphis and USF in there. I think those are the two teams that's really gonna be the group of five teams in talks for the playoffs. Um, in the top 10, really, the most I think Texas A&M may be a little fraudulent. I think Ole Miss might be a little fraudulent. People may say that about us, about Alabama, that we're a little fraudulent. I don't think anybody. I think we have the best record in college football. Not like record
Mm-hmm.
as in 5-1, just based on who we've played. Not
I
many
agree.
teams. I've already said it once before. Not many teams can go to Georgia off of a bye week and then turn around and have Vanderbilt after they played Utah State, and then go to Missouri, who's played five straight home games and they're off of a bye week, and walk out
Yeah.
3-0. Um, but all right. Yeah. Overall, I give the AP committee about a. I give them an A- this week for how they did.
Yeah, I agree. I can definitely agree with an A minus. I think they did a good job. They've been doing good this year. I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like every week's been pretty good, pretty solid.
Yep. And some things have been circulating that kind of made the some of the members of the that contribute to the AP poll take their job a little bit more seriously, as it should be. So that's good to see.
Yeah.
One thing that's kind of slid on the radar here. I don't know if BYU should be ranked that high. Not gonna lie. But other than that, I think they did a pretty solid job. But so now we're just gonna move on to our college game day pick'ems, and that's gonna be the last segment of today's podcast. All right, welcome to the last segment. College Game Day Pick'ems, Week 8. And what a weekend it's about to be. A lot of great games coming up. First game we're gonna go over here is Vandy versus LSU. Vandy ranked 17th, LSU 10th. Spread is Vandy minus 2.5. This is
Mhm.
a matchup between former Alabama wide receiver Aaron Anderson. Not a lot of people know that. It's LSU's wide receiver one. He was actually here at Alabama first. His freshman year with Coach Saban, then he transferred. And then Keanu Coat, also an Alabama, transferred to Vanderbilt. So a couple former Crimson Tide going up there. But as far as this week goes, give me the Commodores. Vandy, after the road loss here in Tuscaloosa, they had a bye week last week. Um, so I think they had that extra week of prep is really going to help, and um, just being at home is just going to play a factor also. And LSU really kind of just scraped by South Carolina last week. Not to say that South Carolina is terrible, but they've also like definitely been a little fraudulent this year. And playing in Death Valley, LSU also didn't play that well against Florida. Um, so I think Vandy surprisingly hands LSU their second loss this season.
Yeah, I don't mind the take. I think this is definitely probably the hardest take on here for me. But I'm gonna go LSU. My pick was LSU. I think that the Vandy Diego Pavia train stopped at Alabama. I think his mojo's gone. He
Yeah,
might make me eat my words, but I think he's gonna have another bad game at LSU, and I think LSU has something to prove. And I think LSU will pull it out. I think if I had to make a score prediction, I think probably by about 10 points. I
really.
think LSU will. will come in, play sound, and I think the Vandy train stops this week.
Yeah. Before I made my pick here, I didn't know the spread, so I was actually surprised when the spread came out and Vandy was favored. But nonetheless, they are.
Yeah.
Moving on, next game. Gonna be a pretty good matchup here too, in my opinion. South Carolina versus Oklahoma. It's at South Carolina. I believe Oklahoma really gets a break here with I think it's an 11 a.m. game. Oklahoma's still favored -5.5. They get John Mateer back last week. Um, but right now, South Carolina's fighting for their life at this point. At this point in the season, they got their backs against the wall and they're just scraping just the rest of the season since how it's gone so far. South Carolina's allowed 339 yards per game, which is manageable compared to Oklahoma's 389 average. Um, and I still don't think John Mateer is 100% after that surgery that he had last week in the Red River Shootout. Um, just prove that, and so I'm going with the Gamecocks here. It's Cocktober, so I'm going with the Gamecocks.
I went Gamecocks too. I think John Mateer has another bad outing. I think he might get benched this week. I think they should have gave him more time to heal.
Yep, I
I
agree.
think Lenore Sellers and South Carolina is just they can win the most random games because they're such electric players. You have Nick Harbor too.
Yep,
Yeah, I went South Carolina.
yep, I agree. I don't think a couple weeks ago, Mateer was my pick to win the Heisman. I don't think he's 100%. I think they rushed it back, tried to get him back too soon for the rivalry game, and just not a good idea there. Next game, Georgia versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss got the upset versus Georgia last year, so revenge is definitely a factor. This time around for Georgia. Um, I'm going with the Bulldogs here. Georgia,
Mhm.
they're in a position to reclaim the narrative of their season here. In my opinion, people are saying the officiating has bailed them out a couple times, especially the Auburn game last weekend. Um, like I said, it's a revenge game, and Ole Miss only beat Washington State by 3 last week, which was very surprising to me. And with it being at Georgia, I think it's definitely gonna play a factor. Like I said, so give me the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I went Bulldogs too. Definitely, I think this is the turning point for Georgia Bulldogs. They have to win this game. I think Kirby wants them to know that. They're coming off Auburn. People are calling them frauds. I mean, people are saying that they're not the same Georgia team, and I think they'll pick Trinidad Chambliss apart. I mean, C.J. Allen's been having a shout out C.J. Allen. He's been having a great. He had a great outing against Auburn. I think they're really going to step it up defensively, and I think Chambliss isn't going to know what to think. I think give me the Bulldogs. I think the Bulldogs get a convincing win.
Yeah. I agree. Trinidad Chambliss, D2 Heisman last year at Ferris State. Um, big jump to the SEC, so we'll see how he holds up in a tough road environment there. Definitely going to be interesting to see. All right, next we got Arizona State versus Texas Tech. Patrick Mahomes' alma mater. Um, I've got the Red Raiders in this one. And let me tell you why I like Texas Tech. I like Texas Tech this weekend because of Baron Morton. Arguably, in my opinion, he's probably the best quarterback that Texas Tech has had since Mahomes. He's been dialed in. Um, and they spent a lot this offseason with NIL has definitely helped them. They're boosters. But anyway, Morton has 1,400 plus passing yards this season with a passer rating of 177. It comes out to an average of 10.1 yards per attempt. Texas Tech, they're aggressive. They control their turnovers. They're consistent. And I just like how Baron Morton plays, so just give me the Red Raiders in this one. I think Arizona State's been fraudulent this year so far.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Arizona State they've had a rough season, and when they see good teams, they just don't know what to do. They're not disciplined. Yeah, give me Texas Tech. I don't know a lot about Texas Tech, but I know they're a good team. I know they're
Yeah.
overall very well, and they're playing dominant this year. Nobody stopped them yet, and I don't think it ends here. Give me Texas Tech.
Yeah. Not a lot of good teams in the Big 12 this year, but I think Texas Tech's definitely the best one. All right, we got 3 games left. Next up we got Notre Dame versus USC. Um, it's at Notre Dame. No, I'm sorry. It's in Los Angeles. Wait. No. It's in South Bend. I'm sorry. It's in South Bend. That's
Okay.
right. Um, but USC is on fire right now. I've got the Trojans in this one. I think this game right here. If Notre Dame loses this game, it will knock them out of the playoffs. It'll be 3 losses on the season. This is gonna be a statement game for USC. Um, they dominated Michigan last weekend. Jaden Mayava is another quarterback, just like Baron Morton. He's on a roll. He could be in there with the Heisman candidates. He's got a weapon in Makai Lemon. And I really like what I saw from USC last weekend when they upset Michigan. Um,
Mhm.
and it's not an early game. USC had to travel to Illinois, and they kind of struggled versus Illinois, but it was an 11 a.m. game, which would have been like 8, 9 a.m. On the West Coast. So that was kind of a hard, time difference traveling there. Um, but given the Trojans, I think they're going to walk in the South Bend and get a W, and ultimately in Notre Dame's playoff contentions this weekend.
Yeah, I went Notre Dame on this one. I think Notre Dame again has something to prove. I think they know that. I think they know this is a game they have to win, and I think they'll come out early and stuff USC, stop that little hot streak they have going, and they're at home, and so I think just overall I just don't see Notre Dame. I don't see Notre Dame losing this one. I think they know they have to win, and I think they'll shut it down defensively. I also think CJ Carr has something to prove, no doubt.
Yeah. All right. Auburn versus Missouri. I was really just hesitant on putting this game in here, and just I hate Auburn. Um, just all I've got to say. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I think it's gonna be another upset here, just because it's at Jordan Hare. I've got Auburn in this one. This is the first time in my life I've ever picked Auburn to win anything, I believe. Um, um, I don't have much to say for this game other than at the end of this season, we better be prepared to go into Jordan Hare at the end of this season. Um,
Yeah.
and I think last week we kind of shook Missouri up, and I think Auburn gets the upset here.
Yeah, I don't hate that take, and I can definitely see Auburn winning, especially now that I know it's at Jordan Hare. I didn't know that. But I said Missouri. I think Missouri's a good team overall around the hedges, and if I had to make a storyline for this one, I think this is honestly what probably leads the downfall for Hugh Freeze. I think Hugh Freeze will be fired before we play Alabama, so
Yeah. Um.
before he plays us.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I can definitely see Auburn having to go into the coaching carousel at the end of this season. Um. All right. Here we go. Last game. Third
Okay.
weekend in October. Everyone knows who
Yeah.
plays in the third weekend of October. Alabama versus Tennessee. Number 6 versus number 11. The spread's Alabama minus 8.5.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, I've got Alabama. We're on a roll right now. Fourth straight game playing a top 20 opponent, which is just absolutely insane. We've got a tough schedule. We're in a really tough stretch right now. Like I said, not many teams can go into Georgia, play Vanderbilt, go to Missouri, and come out 3-0. I think even
Yeah.
less teams do those three things and then turn around and beat Tennessee as well. But I think we get it done because um, same thing with Georgia and Ole Miss. Revenge is a factor here. Tennessee beat us last year. Um, uh, Ty Simpson continues to look great. We've got over 2,200 yards into offense so far, and I don't think we're slowing down this weekend. I think uh, defensively, our safeties and cornerbacks are going to be tested a lot. It's going to be the biggest test they've had this season. Uh, Turnovers and sacks are going to be the key to this game. Tennessee did not
Mhm.
turn the ball over and let up a sack versus Arkansas last weekend, and they only won by 3. They only won
Yeah.
by 3. It was at Tennessee, I believe. Um, they didn't turn the ball over and they didn't let up a sack, and they only won by 3. So obviously, if we get those things contributed and we play our type of football, then I think we cover, and I think we kick their butt. If I'm being completely honest, I hope we do.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think that we're hot. We have Ty Simpson. We have I think he's the best quarterback in the nation. And that's unbiasedly he's number one in the Heisman race right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think Tennessee they struggle against Arkansas, and I don't think Tennessee's a great team. I think our defense will give Joey Aguilar fits, and yeah, I don't see. I mean, knock on wood, but I think Alabama's the better team all around.
Yep, I agree. Just I don't know about if you have any, Solomon. I just jotted this down. Just a couple key players for us this week. Obviously
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Williams wasn't 100% last week. If he's 100% this week, I think he's going to be a key player. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
be if he's 100%, he's going to be kind of not only we know his skill set obviously, but he's going to open up the passing game for Bernard and Horton and Latier Brooks. Just because um he's so skilled. And then um, Damani Jackson. Like I said, I think it's going to be the biggest test this week for our secondary, our safeties, and our corners. And Damani Jackson didn't have a great week great game last weekend, and so he may get replaced by true freshman Dijon Lee. Who knows? We'll wait and
Yeah.
see. I don't think he will. So I think this is going to be a great test for him. He needs to step up. He's going to be a key player. And then our linebackers, Deontay Lawson, Nakai Hillgreen, Justin Jefferson, need to have really good eye discipline this week. And um, our linebackers, those three linebackers, and our defensive line, like I said, need to pressure. They need to make Joey Aguilar really uncomfortable because, like I said, no
Yeah.
turnovers, no sacks versus Arkansas. So if we get that, if that's going to be key there, it definitely help us to come up with a W.
Yeah, Joey Aguilar will throw picks. If he's uncomfortable, he'll throw picks. You saw it against Georgia. I mean, he throws a lot of picks. He leads the SEC in interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he'll definitely throw some turnovers. We just gotta pressure the quarterback.
Yep, I agree. And he was at, I mean, he was at App State last year,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is what are they, Sun Belt? So,
Believe so. Yeah.
I'm looking here. I'm trying to find a update on Jam Miller really quick. Obviously, I think Derek Meadows is going to be out. Um, Meadows both left the Missouri game with concussions. Jalen Mbakwe is dealing with a hand injury. Um, Obviously, Jam Miller is the most notable this week. That's gonna, you know, not be good without him. I think we'll still be fine in the run game. It's just Jam's just a complete different
Yeah.
dude back there. Um, I don't know. I can't find anything. I don't think he's gonna play. Um, I don't blame him. I'd rather him sit this game and rest the rest of the season. But all right. Let's look at the standings so far. Solomon, you'll be in here next week for our picks, just depending on how your record goes off your picks. Right now, Cole's still in first. He's 19-4, only four wrong picks so far this season. I'm 17-6. I've missed six. That's all we got so far. It's only episode 3, so hoping to get more people, more stats in there. But uh, that's
Yeah.
all I've got, Solomon. Unless you got anything else.
No, man, I appreciate you. I had a
Yeah.
great time.
We appreciate you coming on. Roll Tide. We'll see y'all next week.
See you, man.